What is going on, you guys? Obi Wan is dead. So, of course, well, if you've seen Star Wars, you know that, right? But he lives on through the Force. What am I talking about? Obi Wan is dead. Basically, if you haven't heard already, news is basically surfacing. It's still not official, but the standalone films are basically put on hold, which could mean that they're dead. We don't know how long they're put on hold for. Sometimes things that go on hold are permanently on hold. So recently, rumors came out of the Obi Wan movie and the Boba Fett movie. They were not confirmed by Disney officially, but they were pretty strong rumors. And the Obi Wan rumors have been out there for a long, long time. And similar strength rumors are come out now that being reported by multiple outlets that that these movies, all of these standalone movies, so the Boba Fett and Obi-Wan movies, are put on hold for right now. Likely a result of Solo not performing as well at the box office. So this is basically the big talk that's been going on today. So the reason I say dead, at least for the meantime, is that if they're putting their efforts somewhere else, I don't know if there's going to be any rush for them to come back to this anytime soon. So just dead for the foreseeable future. What does this mean? Well, for one, I believe these rumors because of the fact that there's probably a good reason that Disney never actually confirmed these movies and never announced them, because they were never really ready to go forward with them. And whether or not Solo was the tipping point is, you know, I don't think Solo's sales is what did it. I think it's more along the lines of a message for the fans, giving Disney is like, so at least some of the fans. I know I'm not a Solo hater. I just was not a big fan of any kind of backstory. I don't like movies where I kind of know everybody, or everybody that I care about in the movie is safe. I like actually watching a movie where when there's a dangerous scenario, I want to be on the edge of my seat, because I don't want to just know. Like, imagine you're watching a movie and like there's a plane and it's gonna crash, but can this pilot save the plane? And somebody's like, oh, by the way, he totally saves the plane. You know, it's gonna be fine. They're all gonna be fine. You know, like, well, it takes something out of the intensity, and so I feel like that for any of these backstory movies. Now, I have already done a video on like how they could make the Obi-Wan movie actually really cool and enjoyable for me, so you can check that out. I'll put a link to that at the end of the video. But generally, backstory movies, not a great idea, not a great way to get fans into theaters. They're all right, and granted, by most accounts, Solo did great, but it fell short of the projected numbers. They expected it to do even better, so it did better than a lot of other movies, but it didn't do as good as a Star Wars movie maybe should have done. And so I think a lot of that is just because, some of that is probably because there's some angry fans out there. I'm not an angry fan at all. I love Star Wars, and I'm thrilled that we have so many Star Wars movies that there's some that I'm less enthusiastic about. I think that's a great problem to have, and this is a great time to be alive. So I'm very, very happy to have this type of problem where there's a movie that I'm just not super crazy about. That being said, I'm so much more excited about movies, with new stuff, with new characters. That's kind of one of the reasons I think that Rogue One was more enjoyable, because nobody was necessarily safe. So you didn't know, Vader, I guess, was safe, but and I guess Tarkin was safe. But your main characters, if they were in danger, then they were really in danger. And I think that's something that really needs to happen. I'm excited for Episode 9 for a number of reasons, but I'm also really excited about the new movies that are coming out. I'm really excited about Rian Johnson's trilogy, even though, a lot of people are upset with Rian Johnson. I think him being able to make his own trilogy and have total, or at least a lot more control over it, will keep, at least there will be, hopefully, a consistent vision from movie to movie to movie, as opposed to, like, well, he didn't do what this other person had set up, because I think that was one of the problems with Episode 8, was that, there was a lot of expectations and not a lot of payoff. That being said, I'm hoping 9 can fix that. But also the Dan and Dave from Game of Thrones are making their own series of movies. Those are going to be coming out too, and so I'm more excited about movies about the unknown, or movies about where characters are, their fate is unknown. I'm okay with there being familiar characters introduced. Like, I would love to see a movie about Thrawn. I would love to see a movie about Ezra and his future, and the fate of Thrawn and Ezra post Star Wars Rebels. I would love to see that, because they're not safe. We don't know what happens to them. I'm less enthusiastic to see a Boba Fett movie, because we know his fate, and so and even if he doesn't die, we know that he's not going to get terminally wounded, or he's not going to get, you know, his arms and legs chopped off. Or I mean, or at least you presume that. I mean, I think it could be a real stretch to say, oh, well, he was actually a cyborg in Empire Strikes Back. You know, like that's, you know, that's too convoluted, and that kind of reminds me of like some of those Tales from the Cantina and Tales of the Bounty Hunter books, where they're like, oh, and by the way, IG-88 was 1 second away from total galactic domination right before the Death Star blew up. Like come on, it's a little too contrived at that point. That being said, you know, there is a lot of things to talk about though with you know, Disney's direction. So canceling these standalone movies. One, yes, it frees up, you know, their direction to focus more on these other new movies that they're coming out with. I think that's a good thing, and I think that they didn't say that they're canceled. They just said they're on hold. This gives them the freedom to come back and do them at some point. I'm not super crazy about that idea, but you know, whatever. It is what it is. That being said, I'm just way more excited about the future and unknown characters. Not only these movies, but the new shows we have. We have Star Wars Resistance coming out. So that's, and honestly, that's supposed to be coming out in a few months, and we haven't even seen hardly anything about it. So I think we're long overdue for something for Star Wars Resistance, especially given its, you know, alleged release date of this fall. I mean, what, like potentially 3 months from now, that could be on your TV. And we don't know anything about it yet, other than there's some type of X-Wing looking ship that has a mustache on the front. What is up with that? What is this mustachioed X-Wing? I want to know more about Star Wars Resistance. That being said, there's also Disney streaming service, and there's supposed to be Jon Favreau's show is happening right now. There's also these serious rumors that Yoda may return in Episode 9. There's even more rumors going on right now that Billy D. Williams will reprise Lando finally in Episode 9. I believe those as well because I have been paying attention to Billy D. for a while. I follow him on social media, and he, for the past couple of months, every interview he's been doing, he's been looking slimmer, he's been getting in shape, he's been talking about that he's on a new diet and workout routine, working out 3 times a week. He is getting in shape. Doesn't say what for, but I am pretty sure it's to be Lando once again, and that is so great. It's so great. But you know, there's just a whole lot of really cool stuff that they can do. It would be really nice if they used these, like, you know, like these solo films to maybe fill in some of the gaps that they're set up by other films, and maybe there's more they can do with like a Boba Fett movie if it comes maybe 6 years from now after they've done a whole bunch of other movies, and now they have other characters that can tie into a Boba Fett movie and make it a little more rewarding. I still won't be a super big fan of it, but it's possible to make something like that really good. You know, there's another thing that I want to see in these movies too is more ships, and I think a Boba Fett movie is more likely to be able to show off more ships. And I don't really see an Obi Wan movie showing off a whole lot of ships or fleet battles or fighters and, you know, that sort of stuff. Too much of it sounds like it would end up being a desert movie, and that would be terrible. If it ends up being a journey through the Force, then that would be great. That being said, I have 2 more things. I want to remind you guys, well, first off, I am having another round of the giveaway going on right now, so if you're not already subscribed, make sure you subscribe and leave a comment, and then you're entered to win. I'm giving away 3 different X-Wing 2.0 conversion kits in the form of a Cool Stuff gift card. Only thing you need to do to enter is become a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos. It's as simple as that. Second off, I've got a new Snoke theory for you guys, so I know this is like all this film news kind of in one video. Got a Snoke theory for you. Okay? Now, Snoke theories are like not even really happening. It's not even really a thing anymore. But I've got a Snoke theory. My theory is that, okay, Snoke was really, really powerful. Snoke was almost too powerful, like almost too strong. You saw the way he just, you know, like practically almost destroyed Kylo Ren, like with his pinky. Unbelievable levels of power with the Force. We've seen one character who was, you know, who was potentially overpowered with the Force before. We've seen, you know, Snoke had them build this ultimate weapon. It was called Star Killer Base, right? I think Snoke is Star Killer. That's what I think. I think Sam Witwer had actually shared, and I couldn't find it. I think it has been taken down, but it was a picture, one of those transpositions of Snoke's face over Starkiller's face, and it was really good. And I'm like, you know what? They haven't brought back Starkiller yet. Sam Witwer does plenty of voices. Now, he doesn't do Snoke's voice, that's Andy Serkis, but Sam Witwer's also a voice actor, so he's already got something in common with Snoke in that he's a voice actor. He also has played this character that's overpowered in the Force, almost to the point of being a joke. That's the Starkiller joke. So Snoke, maybe that's a bit pushing it, but similar strength. And maybe this is the answer that was staring us in the face the whole time. And that Starkiller base, they named it after Snoke because he was Starkiller, Galen Merrick, who then rose to become Snoke. I mean, like a lot of these Legends characters, they're putting them in different places, so his story doesn't have to be that he was actually, trained by Vader as a child and to become Vader's assassin. It could be a different Galen Merrick who was just also like stupidly overpowered, and so he became Snoke, and he kind of had to get, that's why he was so incredibly powerful, because it was based on a video game character that everybody said if he ever came on screen, he'd have to be, or became canonized, he'd have to become like way toned down because he was like stupidly overpowered. I don't know. Let me know what you think of the Snoke theory in the comments below. But anyway, to summarize, the standalone movies are on hiatus right now. It's going to be weird having to go more time in between movies, but maybe that just means they're ramping up production on these other movies and they'll be coming to us quicker. It's going to be weird this December, first Christmas time in a few years without a Star Wars movie, so that's going to be surprising as well. Let me know what you think, guys. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to check out Crabbok.com. Don't forget to check out my Discord. Hop in there, say hi, and subscribe. Click that bell for alerts. Leave a comment to enter the giveaway. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day.